My client got approved for 132K in 0% business funding in less than 2 months, and his business was only open for less than 2 months. So I want you to steal his strategy. I'm going to show you exactly which banks we went to and how we got it done, but only if you stick around to the end. So let's get it. What's going on? It's Colin Brown here for Business Credit Limited on back. So I'm not gonna waste any time. Let's get to it. Y'all know how I do this. These are my client reviews. So essentially where I go through and show you a client's personal profile, certain aspects about their business so you can see exactly what to expect if you're looking to get business funding. Hey, even if you want to work with me, what that would look like, how much funding we typically can get from looking at a bunch of different scenarios. Okay. So in this client's position here, he got 132K. It took less than 2 months. And this is where his credit scores were. Now, TransUnion 814, Experian 833, and Equifax 828. So this client had a strong personal profile, I would say, coming in, because anything once you hit 750 is a pretty strong profile, really. But I think I would start labeling like strong or excellent. Anything past like 780 is strong. But once you hit like 830 ish, then you have a really, really good profile. So I always say this, you guys, if you're looking for business funding, especially if you're looking for 0% business funding, you have to bring something to the table. And the thing that you can control the most, even though it's the most time consuming if you haven't already done it, is going to be a strong personal profile. All right. So if you have the strong personal profile, you can take this 800 score, 750 score that you have, and you can flip that to six figures in funding. Now, this client has had personal credit since 2015, which helps out a lot. That's almost 10 years from today's date, the time I'm recording this. That's going to be amazing in your odds of getting high limit funding, because banks are going to look at the most comparable credit that there is to a business credit card, which is a personal credit card. And if you've been managing that well for 9 years, the odds is that you're going to be able to manage your business funding as well. So highest credit card limit is going to be 29K, which is excellent. Anything past 25 is like over the top. You can make it happen like 100K plus in funding with 25K, really all the way down to like 10K. But if you have a credit card limit that is above 10, 15, 20, 25, you're doing amazing. Anything above 25 is like top tier. Can't get too much better than that, because the limits on the personal side, I've seen someone, she had a 96K limit on a Bank of America personal card, but she's had it for years and years, and she just kept getting limit increases. But for the most part, you kind of see personal limits not cap out, definitely not cap out, because we see here this is above that, but around 25K is where you start to see kind of a limit being put on credit cards on the personal side. You don't see too many limits above that. Definitely so. Like, again, what we're looking at right here on the screen. However, for the most part, 25K is one of the higher limits that you'll get on the personal side, just on average. So anything above that is really good. So no negative items. And look, this client had very low increase. He only had one inquiry with TransUnion. The rest of the inquiries were cleared out. So what that means, more importantly, is not only that he has low increase, like that's great, but also means he hasn't been applying for credit much, which is superb. If you're looking for business funding and you've already went through like a personal round of funding or something like that, or I don't know, you just been buying a bunch of stuff, you probably want to give a little cool down period before applying for business funding, especially if those accounts that you just applied for, they were added to your personal credit reports. Now, you can add, say, a personal loan or something like that, and that could be added on to your personal credit reports, and you still can apply and be approved for business funding. But say if you just got a house, you just got a car, you just got a personal loan, you just got like more than like 2, 3 accounts. You got like 2 to 4 accounts within the last 1 to 3 months. Then give it another 1 or 3 months cool down period before you apply for funding again. Okay. For the most part, you'll need that. Even if, again, if you've already removed those inquiries, you still want to give it a little cool down period. Okay. Because sometimes banks can still see the information even if you don't have the inquiry on your profile. Okay. Now, yeah, you'll have one inquiry TransUnion. Now, some information here. So, like I said, client had just opened up his business just a little bit over a month prior to funding. Okay, his business is located in South Carolina, and we had to label this business as a consulting business for funding purposes. Okay, so it's possible. Like you could have, especially the way we do things, we use business relationship managers. And what does that mean? When we're using our business relationship managers, we can tell this banker, like, since we're directly speaking to someone instead of applying online, all right, and going in a branch with someone that may or may not know what's going on. But the business relationship managers that we use, we get to tell them a story about the client's business. And like, if you know anything about like SBA lending, that's what a lot of that is about, like actually selling the story of why your business needs funding in the first place. Okay, so we're able to do that and use different NACS codes and things like that. And that's why I haven't really said much on this channel about NACS codes, because I don't really care as much about NACS codes now, because I know that unless a client's business is blatantly labeled as something, then we probably still can get them funded because of the relationship managers that we work with. And like I said, strong personal credit score. Not too much to like mention with this client, really. The main thing that I wanted to show you guys and talk about, here's the learning lesson here. Okay, the client only got approved with 3 different banks for this 132K. So a 75K approval, 27K between 2 cards with American Express, and then 2 cards with Truist for 30K, which brought us at 132K. Here's the thing that I want to talk about really quickly. So I always see different stuff out there about like having all these different banks, having access to these different credit unions, go to these credit unions, go to these different banks. And when you have the right relationships, when you know which banks are giving out the most funding for a particular client, you don't need like 30 banks. It's not about how many banks you have. It's about how much funding you can get from any particular bank, because I know how to get funding from any bank. I don't have to have like exactly what the hottest banks are. Not saying that ain't important. It's important to know which banks are lending to particular clients per se. All I'm saying is that you don't have to have this excessive amount of banks. Like you don't have to be obsessed with finding new banks all the time if you know how to get a large amount of funding from a lot of banks that you know of. And that's the thing with us. It's like you may even know the banks that we go to, but it don't matter because you probably still don't know how to get this funding from them unless you really know what you're doing. So I mean, yeah. But that's what the client went to. We still have some banks to go to. So this is kind of what you would call like a first round, just within like that 90 days, some of the banks that we went to. So we've removed some inquiries. We're kind of letting some accounts build, some relationships build. Then we'll continue to go for more funding from there. But that was my main thing here. You can go to these banks just like this client, and you can get these limits too. But again, if you don't know what you're doing, you don't look at all the different variables, then you won't see the exact same results. And that's why, look, if you want to just take the easy button, click the easy button, boom, and actually get access to business funding the right way, where we're going to go through thoroughly and make sure that your profile meets the bank's requirements from the personal side and the business side, and do this whole process for you essentially, then you can check out the description, that first link there, book a session with us so we can see if we can get you business funding too as well. But this is this client's review. This is the banks that we went to and how much funding that we got from each bank to equal up to 132K. That's pretty much it for now. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe for more weekly fun and videos because they're coming your way. Let's get it. Let's go. Let's go. Yeah.